My goodness gracious alive.
Bill's still right in that song. Everybody needs homebrew.
Everybody does need homebrew. We needed homebrew because it's
Mm,
been like a month,
yeah,
if not a little bit longer, since we've talked last.
it has been a rather busy last month.
Dude,
I
no,
know
it's
that-
been even longer.
yeah,
I haven't talked to you since June.
yeah, probably so. Probably so. I know.
Homebrew listeners, you've listened to a month-long series on Gettysburg, and we've
True.
done nothing. No, we've
Yeah,
done a lot.
yeah. We definitely. I went on vacation 1 week in July. I know that. Well, and my wife Kaylee actually just got a brand new job, so we've had to set up a home office for her because the good news is that she mostly gets to work from home,
That's
which
great.
is great. Considering that, well, she used to have to travel to Baton Rouge, arguably one of the most crime-ridden cities in these
Hey,
48
hey,
contiguous
some of
states.
us do it.
Yeah,
Some
wonderful.
of us like the thrill.
Yeah, some of us. Well, I lived in it for the past 4 years, and I'm as hardened as I'll ever be. Wait, pause. Hold on. Yeah, anyway, this is a late night episode.
Yeah.
If
Somebody asked me if I like, because I go for a walk every
uh,
day, like just a little stretch walk. They're like, do you feel safe walking around in downtown Baton Rouge? Like, no, but that's part of the thrill.
no, but it does get my heart rate up.
Yeah, I'm putting like 160 in on these.
Yeah.
No, it's actually I have a really good steady walking heart rate, and like when I went to the doctor last week, my doctor was like, "Your resting heart rate is 50." I said, "Yeah," and she goes, "I hate you." That's not what I wanted to hear from my doctor, but
Well, I,
okay.
I tell you what, thank goodness neither one of us were walking outside today. And folks, we are okay. I'm sure you've seen, or maybe some of you have seen, maybe not our international listeners, but maybe some of our local listeners have seen that there was an explosion in Tangipahoa Parish, the parish in which Joey and I both reside. There was a petroleum oil producing company that went alight.
Yeah,
And
nope, not us. Looked a
yeah,
lot like Molesty oil field, but not
yeah.
us.
Yeesh. I've seen some of the pictures, and there are some people whose cars have a shiny oil slick on top of them. Some people's pools are just looking like the BP oil spill.
It's almost like we should switch to clean energy, green energy, and stop relying on oil. And let's.
Yeah.
There I go again with my milk toast liberalism.
Uh,
I can't believe that. What just a great line.
I,
Come on.
I will. I almost wear it as a badge of honor. Mm,
Guilty. I don't know.
I'll drink to that. Mm.
Like, where do you even? How do you come? How do you just wake up in the morning like, you know what? The first person that says I want, I want, I want goodwill toward man. I'm calling them milk toast liberal.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? No.
Whoa,
What did
threw
I
me
do?
for a loop. Threw me for a real loop. Um, so I've been on the road. You went to the beach. You
Yeah.
didn't. You had a good beach trip, and then set
It
up a home
was.
office. Everything
It
else.
was.
I
Um,
seemingly I'm just happy to be in my own house for like 48 hours.
True, because it wasn't that long ago. You were over there at um, where they host the Civil War conference.
Where do they have the Civil War? Well, David McCullough tells us all 10,000 different places from Valverde, New Mexico, all the way to Maine. Um,
Okay.
so let's see. Let's rewind. June, I talked to the Baton Rouge Civil War Roundtable,
Mhm.
and then July, we spent a lot of time moving, getting our house settled in. Finally, have the office set up the way I like it. We've got World War II behind us, Civil War to the left, post-war memory politics there, memory, slavery, and research files right here. race riot material, civil stuff right there. We got this locked down. And then let's see, what did we do first? Went to Emerging Civil War and Stevenson's Ridge. Some of the listeners will have heard that episode with our friend and sponsor. Did you know that Homebrew History is sponsored by Civil War Trails?
You do now.
Could you believe it? We had Chris and our friend Richard Lewis on the show. Not to be confused with the comedian who is dead. Richard Lewis is Virginia tourism and very much alive. Some might even say the life of every party. But Chris and Richard came on. I thought that was a fun little, we had a little bonus episode in there, and it was fresh takes. It was a late night. I know because they kept me up until like 2 a.m. recording that. So that was a great time. And then came home here for a week, and then up to Nashville for a fundraiser for Finley's Touch, charity for children battling rare blood cancers with Al Murray and that whole gang. So headed up to Nashville, did that, and then now we're back. Hopefully, that was it for a while. I'd like to just stay put for just a minute. Jeez.
Actually, let's see, this is Friday, so yesterday was my first day of my 5th year of teaching, which is bonkers. That's insane to even think about for me.
Old.
Old. But
old with a capital O.
But not old enough. Though I do make the joke. I was like, because I always introduce, myself to my students, and kind of give them a little bit of, information about who I am, and I'm like, I love my colleagues to death, but some of them were around during the Missouri Compromise and some of them wrote it. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Could you explain in one word or less what the Missouri Compromise was?
The good news is that we'll have more listeners to the show because every semester I always indoctrinate my students with homebrew history, and they may or may not get bonus points if they listen and or watch the shows.
Hey, I enlisted a bunch of new listeners last week at NashCon. I had my water bottle with all my stickers on it, and some guy was like, "Hey, where'd you get that sticker?" I was like, "Oh, I got it from the Bearded Historian, who proudly is a partner of my podcast, Homebrew History." And they were like, "What's homebrew history?" Yeah, well, yes, of course. Let me tell you all about this podcast that started in my mom and dad's house 7 years ago.
7 years ago. It's funny. We had so there's been a lot of changes at the university that I work at Southeastern. Dr. Karen Fontenot, God, she's probably been there for 25 years or so. She was actually named Professor Emeritus and Dean Emeritus from Southeastern, which was really cool. But we've had a lot of changes. Yes, all the emeriti, I think is the right plurality of that.
Emeriti. I think it's emeriti.
Yeah, something like that.
I think there's actually a plural.
Yeah, something like that. Emeritus is terrible. I'm sure somebody on YouTube will correct my pronunciation.
Yeah, just because you said one letter out of place, it's going to be over for the show. I just want you to know.
Yeah, God forbid. Line me up with a cigarette and a blindfold. But we have some new leadership changes, and we actually had the provost come and have lunch with our department, which was kind of interesting. But it was funny because he was talking about the importance of history and political science, and he's like, because anybody with a podcast could just get out there. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, those podcasters, man.
Those damn podcast historians, they're the scum of the earth.
They suck.
I mean, he is right. History is really important. And you know what? We loathe to be political. Mm-hmm. We loathe to be political. But let's just tap our little toe into it. Can we tap a little toe into it? Will you permit me to tap my toe into this one?
Cheers.
The executive branch has no business reaching into the Smithsonian.
Yeah. Leave the Smithsonian.
Or just a general assault on the field of history and public history as it stands. I mean, this has been a battle with the National Park Service all summer. And now this is just insane.
Leave the Smithsonian alone, because here's the thing: is that the people who are there, people who are doing the work for the Smithsonian, are insanely qualified to be doing what they're doing, but some people are not. So we'll leave it be. But leave the Smithsonian be is the point.
Yeah, I mean, this was I thought the best response to it all came from the AASLH, so the American Association of State and Local History. I mean, I just thought they killed it here. The administration claims that its interference with the Smithsonian, National Park Service, and other federal cultural agencies is rooted in a commitment to historical accuracy. This is false. Those speciously worded executive orders, incendiary speeches, mass layoffs, funding cuts, and more, the White House has launched a steady campaign to break down our nation's historical infrastructure and remake it in a service of an exclusive, inaccurate vision of America's past and present. We urge both our field and our audiences to reject this effort and stand up for a full and honest approach to our shared history.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. This is, I mean, to me, this is a simple thing, because this is the playground that we get to run around in, right? This is historical memory, how we interpret the past, why we interpret the way we do.
Yeah, I mean, that's a major thing that both you and I talk about on the show all the time, is not only how do we remember the past, I mean, because it is one thing to remember, just a variety of just fact things, but everybody has different interpretations, and some of those interpretations just frankly aren't correct.
Yeah, I mean, just coming right out the gate and saying, they talk too much about slavery. They say, slavery, it wasn't that bad. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. And
we're playing with fire.
And unfortunately, we are in 2025 seeing the rise of anti-Semitism, especially amongst, young men. So that's kind of in the same school of thought, sort of slavery apologists. It's not, I don't think it's shocking that those two kind of worship at the same church, if you will.
Yeah.
But it's a problem.
Yep. Well, here we are to do our due diligence and try and make a more informed electorate.
Yeah, we're avoiding being those podcasters.
Someone asked me the other day, they're like, why are you into history? Why do you teach? Why are you so dedicated to history? And I said, because I want to make a more informed electorate. And they're like, you say that about everything. I said, I do. And it really is just my goal at the end of the day is to make at least one voter, one citizen of the United States, just a little bit more informed.
At least stop and think a little bit,
I try to present things that make you stop and go, and not go, oh, he did his own research. Like, yeah, I do my own research. Yeah, I research binders full of crap here. But, not in like the weird, nutty professor way. But
yeah.
Anyways, not what we're here for. So we've been, understandably, a little bit busy. But while we kind of pine over the fact that we've had a lot going on in the last couple of days and weeks, why don't we hit a quick little 2-minute commercial break, and we come back and we let's talk about, this is a fun topic, right? Let's talk about Huey P. Long and the coup that almost possibly maybe could have been and was for a minute and then wasn't, or maybe it was. Anyways, let's hit a quick little commercial break, and we'll be right back with more homebrew history.
Homebrew History is brought to you by Civil War Trails. Civil War Trails is the world's largest outdoor museum with more than 1,600 sites in 6 different states. Civil War Trails can be part of your next family vacation just by simply visiting their website, and you can find the link below in our description, or visit civilwartrails.org, where you can request a free brochure for your next road trip. Whether or not you're heading to the beach or off to Disney World, or maybe you're heading just around the block, you can make Civil War Trails part of your trip. Visit our friends at Civil War Trails. For $5 a month, you can support Homebrew History. Head over to our Buy Me a Coffee page where you can subscribe and become a member of the Homebrew crew. There, for just $5, you get access to ad-free episodes, exclusive episodes with our guests. You get a little bit more bang for your buck when it comes to the whole series episodes. We've got a series coming out, you get the whole thing all in one run, as opposed to having to wait around like everyone else. Join us over on the Buy Me a Coffee page and help support Homebrew History. Remember, for just $5 a month, you make sure Homebrew History has enough. Homebrew History is proud to partner with our friend the bearded historian Jeff Williams. Head on over to his shop where you can check out some of his great designs. He's got all kinds of great designs just waiting for you, featuring artifacts and objects from all kinds of historical periods, and designs featuring some of your favorite scenes and actors from films and series like A Bridge Too Far, Band of Brothers, Gettysburg, Kelly's Heroes, and much, much more. If you're not already following us over on Facebook, Instagram, and now Blue Sky, check us out and make sure that you're subscribed and listening to us on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, and on YouTube. And if you're watching that YouTube channel, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll be back after just a few commercial messages.
That's good.
It felt good. Did you like and subscribe?
I have. And yeah, that is the question.
Have you? Have you really?
Yes.
Have you done it? Yeah. So let's dive into this because this is a fun one. I don't know. I stumbled on this while stumbling on something else.
As we do.
Yeah, I was doing my 1874 research, and I was like, coups in Louisiana, or I think I put it something like governor overthrown. It was one of my newspaper archive searches. Governor overthrown, Louisiana. And I didn't narrow my date search, which I guess fluke, but great news for me. I found a funny, I don't know if it's funny. It was a real actual threat. But it's a cool story. So let's dive in. Of course, we know 1928, Huey Long is elected governor of the state of Louisiana. Huey Long comes from hard scrabble beginnings. Now, I'm putting quotes because those are doing a lot of work. Wasn't really that hard scrabble. His mom's family was very wealthy. His father's family was kind of run-of-the-mill, but they always scraped by. I mean, this is not the time to do favorite Huey Long stories, but what the hell? Here's a fun one. While he was campaigning, he would do like 1920s code switch. So if he was talking to Baptist in North Louisiana, he'd say like, I used to bring my grandparents with a horse and wagon all the way to the Baptist church services every Sunday. And then if he was down in South Louisiana with all the Catholics, he'd say, I bring my grandparents to the Catholic Mass every Sunday with a horse and buggy. And then he'd get in a car to go back to, Winfield or whatever. I'd be like, damn, Huey, I didn't know you were so religious. And he said, shit, we didn't even own a horse.
Louisiana politicians have lost that ability to have that kind of charisma. And I really do think that some people try to be the new Huey Long.
Yeah, remember Eddie Rispone?
I do, full of baloney Rispone.
Yeah, like he tried.
And it just came out as like Foghorn Leghorn. Yeah, it wasn't Huey.
Yeah. And that was a very specific brand at a very specific time, and it worked for certain people.
It did.
And Huey's elected in 1928. Of course, by 1929, the state legislature tries to impeach him. But this story actually takes place after he has solidified Longism in Louisiana. He has made it the governing force of the state. So he's gotten rid of all of his opponents. He's brought in his own kind of patrons in a way. He's basically made a self-styled patronage system across the state. If you helped him on his campaign, great, you got a job. And he's sort of systematically replaced some of the highest seats in the state legislature, including the president pro tempore, a man by the name of Alvin Olin King. Now, he's important a little bit later on in our story. So right now, as it stands in 1932, Huey Long is posed to enter in on the national scale, right? He is going to head up to the big stage. 1932 is the same year we elect Franklin Roosevelt as president of the United States, and it is the same year that Louisiana elects to send to the United States Senate none other than Huey P. Long. Well, in the November election, Long is elected to the Senate, and the new governor, Governor O.K. Oscar Kelly Allen, is elected. But Allen can't take office until March when he's inaugurated, and Huey's on the outgoing governor. So, Bo, according to the Constitution, who should become the governor?
The lieutenant governor.
The lieutenant governor. The lieutenant governor, a man named Paul Cyr. That's a fun name, Cyr, S-C-Y-R, Paul Cyr. Paul Cyr comes from the booming metropolis of Jeanerette, Louisiana. Ever been there? Neither have I. But Paul Cyr thinks, well, this is it. I get to be the governor because he's vacated the office. He's become the senator. So then comes January. This is supposed to be the big day. Huey gets ready to leave for D.C., but he wants to make some changes because he absolutely hates Paul Cyr. Cannot stand him. But the way that elections work in Louisiana and the way that the ticket is broken up, you don't vote for a ticket as a lieutenant governor.
Mm-hmm.
You vote for the governor, and then you vote for a lieutenant governor. And they could be from different parties. They could be from the same party. They could like one another. They could hate one another. This is one of those instances where they kind of got along in the beginning, and then by 1932, they absolutely hated one another. So Cyr thinks, that's it, I'm going to be governor. Huey says, not so fast. What he decides to do, and this is just like so perfectly in fashion, right? He decides to remove Cyr from office and replace him with the president pro tempore of the Senate, Alvin Olin King. So he replaces Cyr with King. At the same time, Cyr's back home in Jeanerette. He hears about this and he goes to a notary public and he does the only thing that he can think to do. He takes the oath of office as governor of the state of Louisiana.
Amazing.
Because Huey has vacated it and Alvin Olin King's only the lieutenant governor. So Cyr's like, I'm not letting you take away what's rightfully mine.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you look at it, constitutionally, Cyr has every single right to this office. So Huey gets word that Cyr's just registered an oath for the governor, and he grabs a pistol, shoves it in his waistband, and he gets his armed bodyguards to drive him from New Orleans to the Capitol in Baton Rouge. He stops along the way, makes a phone call. He calls the state police, and he calls the Louisiana National Guard and mobilizes them. He puts a guard cordon around the Capitol building and around the governor's mansion with orders to shoot Paul Cyr if he shows up. See what I mean? This is just wild.
That is as Louisiana politics as you can get. As our old mentor / colleague / old professor, Dr. Ronald Traylor once said, if you want a degree in political corruption, go to Texas. If you want a master's degree, come to Louisiana.
Yeah.
And little known fact, Huey P. Long, what does P stand for? It's not Pierre, it is Petty. Huey Petty Long. That man there's a reason to call him the Kingfish.
He pierced the hopes and dreams of Paul Cyr. So this gets even better. So Cyr gets to Baton Rouge. He shows up at the Capitol, and the adjutant general of the National Guard is like, hey, I just want to let you know, we're supposed to shoot you if we see you. So he decides to do. He takes his car. He goes over to a hotel. I think he goes not to the Heidelberg, but to the one across the street from that. I don't remember. But he goes there and he's waiting. He sets up an office, and what he decides is all right, that's it. I'm going to put together my cabinet. So he starts picking politicians and aides. He starts appointing people to hold these positions within his executive branch. As he deems it, he is the governor. Huey sets up his office right across the street at the Heidelberg. And what he starts doing is essentially tit for tat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he arranges, Sear decides, I'm going to take this to the Supreme Court, because ultimately the highest court in the land should be able to rule in this case, and they will rule, of course, in my favor. They don't know Huey that well, I guess. Huey goes to the Supreme Court, and he actually tells Sear, you don't have any legal standing to bring this case before the court, but I do. So he brings the case to the court and argues it for himself. And if we know anything, he wins. He wins, and Alvin Olin King gets to become governor only because Huey essentially goes and threatens all the Supreme Court justices, and threatens Sear with basically death. And Sear, for the rest of his life, never forgave Huey Long for this moment. And would you? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to just move along after this. So King becomes governor for a hot minute. He's governor from January until May, when the inauguration comes along. And then OK Allen is governor. Well, Allen gets in, and OK Allen, the joke, right? The old Earl Long joke is, OK Allen, he'd sign anything. If a leaf flew through the window, he'd sign it because he thought my brother sent it. He is the ultimate Huey Long yes man. So we get Allen in power from 1936 to 1932 to 1936. Same time, Huey's off in the United States Senate. And this is 33. He breaks away from Roosevelt and starts railing against the New Deal. Same time frame, drafts his own ideas, the Share Our Wealth Society. And that plan and that kind of national duel launches him into the minds and hearts of the whole country. Between him and Father Coughlin, they're preaching this kind of like America first, and like this is the OG America first. So isolationist, ultra right wing, but these are two very different political entities. Between Father Coughlin, very much to the right, and Huey Long, very much to the left.
Yeah. And then there's FDR somewhere in the middle.
And then there's FDR, who's painted by so many as like this ultra liberal, progressive leftist. And he's actually pretty much dead down the middle when you put him in that room, right? You line him, Huey Long, and Coughlin.
And FDR is very unique, because he's doing things that, the American executive branch had never done before. So in that way, that kind of makes him radical, but not in like the, radical sense, like, oh, he's, this crazy socialist individual.
Which is the same argument you could make about some of Huey Long's efforts in Louisiana. He was doing something that no Louisiana governor had done before, which was put the power right into the hands of, through his political machine, the people.
Yeah.
But
the Long brothers definitely are both unique and symbolic to Louisiana politics.
Oh, don't worry. Earl makes an appearance.
Thank goodness. I can't wait to talk about Earl.
So this is a long-standing thing, right? So we have the initial coup, the failed attempted coup, and that moment alone is enough for Huey to start traveling with a bodyguard. No matter where he goes, he's usually got 4 men armed with Colt 45 handguns or Thompson submachine guns. You kind of get your pick of the litter on that one. So he's traveling with a bodyguard, traveling all across the country. 1935 rolls along, comes to Baton Rouge. He's in a legislative meeting, which is very strange for a U.S. senator to come to a state capitol and try and lobby for votes on the floor of the state house. But it's not out of normal for him. Like, this is very much a routine thing. So he starts tapping legislators, trying to get their vote to impeach a man named Benjamin Pavey as a district judge. He's opposed to Long. Long hates him. Kind of long story short. See what I did there? Long story short. I'm good at those puns. He secures the votes to impeach Pavey. He walks out the state legislature, out of the state floor, and of course, we know how the story ends. Pavey's son-in-law, Carl Austin Weiss, is standing there, shoots him at point-blank range with a pistol, tears through Huey Long's abdomen. Bodyguards then cut Carl Austin Weiss down. We return now to our friend, our old pal, Oscar Kelly Allen. OK Allen comes barreling out of his office, swings the door open, draws a revolver of his own, and he says, "Hold it! There's going to be any more damn shooting. I want in on it," which is the coolest thing that you say at a murder scene, right?
Yeah.
So the Huey's taken away. Of course, he dies the next day, buried. In the short election, like the spot election that's held, Allen gets the votes to take over in the short term as U.S. Senator, and for the rest of Long's term, it'll be Allen Ellender, which is the weirdest name in the world because you want to say Ellen Ellender or Ellen. Anyways, Allen Ellender will take over for the long period. So we get to January again. OK Allen's on his way. He's about to leave Baton Rouge to go to D.C. Brain aneurysm, dead in 2 hours. Collapses on the front step at the governor's mansion. He's out. Who should step into the role but James A. No. No basically was just a machine hack. Like, he was just involved. He was part of the hot oil sales that have been going on within Long's henchmen. So they were making money hand over fist over unregulated, untaxed oil. I mean, you want to know where the deduct box is? They didn't worry about the deduct box. They had oil money to burn. They didn't care. But No becomes governor, and No was thinking, like, all right, I'm the governor now. Clearly, I would be elected, and I should remain the governor. So he fought tooth and nail to try and nullify the November election result, which saw Richard Lesh become the governor of the state of Louisiana. Ultimately can't win this battle, can't maintain his seat, so he's out in May. Lesh takes over. He's an interim governor, and nobody really remembers James A. No. But No decides that he's going to spend the next 4 years trying to find a way to destroy the Long machine from the outside in, even if it means slashing and burning all of his friends. So he goes after Robert Maestri. He goes after James Smith, president of LSU. Most notably, he goes after Richard Lesh. And it's in that moment where Lesh opens up the door to federal money starting to come into Louisiana. He starts allowing the WPA projects and the CCC projects and the Public Works Administration projects. So we start to see a lot more of Harold Ickes. We start to see a presidential visit to New Orleans where President Roosevelt sits with the governor of Louisiana, which neither Long or OK Allen wouldn't have ever done in a million years.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's where the coolest line that comes from Iranian to a president comes from. That's the Mr. President, how you like them Merciers? I mean, that's just great. Come on, serve me that all day long. But like, things are looking up.
Yeah.
Money starts pumping into the state, and all of a sudden, Richard Lesh becomes a popular name as a potential vice president for Roosevelt in 1940. And then along comes the year 1939. Do you remember 1939? Pepperidge Farms remembers. Pepperidge Farms remembers when Richard Lesh embezzled the state of Louisiana out of $1 million.
Uh-oh.
And like, people do that all the time these days.
Yeah, that's not
This
bad.
was in the middle of the Great Depression in a hard-hit Louisiana economy. And what they found out was that Lesh was using these federal funds to buy state vehicles and then use those state vehicles to do private projects, like, say, construction on a friend's house at LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Remember James No? He hired a bunch of private investigators and had them photograph all these trucks. Wherever they went, they just tailed them, followed them. it's like a great classic 1930s noir film. Like there's just a PI and he's like, I'm gonna get that son of a bitch red-handed. That's exactly what happens here. And then he takes a bite of like a shrimp po' boy or something, or they have a cup of gumbo. I don't know. We have to Louisianify this classic. So this picture just happens to show up in the New Orleans Times-Picayune, and people go ballistic. There's a state investigation, so the state house decides they want to hold an impeachment trial, and Lesh gets sick. He resigns because of illness, and our friend Earl K. Long becomes the governor for about 8-9 months. He finishes out Lesh's term. And then along comes 1940, and Sam Houston Jones as a reformer's in. But No believed ardently that this was enough to destroy Lesh and destroy the Long machine, so that when eventually he wanted to run for governor again, there would be no opposition. And of course, all he does is fan the flames of this already like titanous fireball. So we lose Lesh, lose Maestri, James Smith is gone. So that really kind of leaves just Earl Long as the face of his brother's old political machine. By 1948, it doesn't look like anything's going to happen. Whole thing's kind of caved in. Long is looking unpopular, and Earl gets back on the stage, and No tries to get back into the governorship. And this is when Long effectively cuts the legs out from under James No. And this long storied coup that began all the way back in 1932 finally reaches its end by the middle of the 1950s, when the Long machine essentially just collapses in on itself. We see one last bid for power by Earl Long in 1956. But outside of that, Longism is dead. But it's funny, though. Like, even today, like you said, people try and emulate Brothers Long.
Yeah.
They try to tap into that same vein of like that folksy kind of like do good for one another type of
It definitely reminds me of like, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? You know,
Happy Passage of Daniel.
Which honestly, comma, brother, where art thou? Is definitely some Louisiana political stuff, because Earl Long, it's funny because in the late 1950s, like 1959, like right before he dies, he's actually committed to a psychiatric hospital.
I love this story.
I love it. I think it was like a Ouachita Parish psychiatric hospital.
Mandeville.
Yeah, against his will. And
he had already been in Houston, and he got transferred from Houston to Mandeville.
Yeah. Like
and then does the most wackadoodle shit, fires the administrator of the mental institution, and then pardons himself.
Yeah. Like that's so Louisiana. Like that's as Louisiana as beignets, gumbo, shrimp po' boys, and drive-through daiquiri shops.
Yeah. Yeah. It actually kind of makes red beans and rice look like a Texas dish.
It does, almost.
That's how extreme that is. I like the Oh Brother, Where Art Thou comparison, though, because like there's so many things in that movie that are so spot on.
Yeah. It makes sense. If you haven't seen that movie, do yourself a favor.
Yeah, but Pappy is, I think, certainly, I don't think he's supposed to be Huey. I mean, we talked about this. He actually is a real person.
He is a real person.
He's just a Texas politician.
Johnson series.
Yeah, he's a real person from Texas, powerful Texas Democrat. But in the movie, he's this kind of Mississippi politician, and he talks like this.
Which is, it's so funny what people like think of the South, even still today.
But it works because it is accurate in so many ways. It is just this perfect snapshot of Depression era South.
Louisiana. Yeah.
Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. It kind of covers it all. And that's, I didn't think we were going to switch into this, but this is a good discussion because that movie, I feel like, it's like a perfect exploration of race and class and justice
Mm-hmm.
in the mid 20th century or the
Yeah.
early 20th century in a way that I don't think we ever really look at it, because it's a comedy and it's a play on Odysseus and it's all these things, but it's also a really hard look at Jim Crow South, because we see that in Hitchhiker and all these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we also see the Klan make an appearance in the 1920s. And then there's this idea of democratic control and reform. And then there's the justice system in, chain gangs and like this involuntary sort of servitude thing. It's just it's amazing exploration. I love the movie. And like when you think about it on a deeper level, you love it even more because it's just so much more to think about.
Again, if you haven't seen that movie, do yourself a favor. It is funny, and there are parts that are definitely going to make you say,
Remember, Bill, I don't want fuck. God damn it, I'm a Dapper Dan.
I'm a Dapper Dan.
So you're reading something, because I know we digressed a lot.
Yes,
I feel like that's a cool little story.
It is, and funnily enough, before I get into what I'm reading, because it's been difficult for me to put this book down. But you mentioned it earlier. You talked about Dr. Carl Weiss getting turned into Swiss cheese because he had attempted to assassinate Huey Long, and I say attempt because I like to bring this story into my classes when I talk about the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
Sorry.
Yes.
Notice, your cinnamon toothpaste in the wind?
Yes.
Chris Brown offered another one.
Okay.
Chunky marinara.
Ew.
Works. Carl Austin Weiss was chunky marinara.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely holier than thou.
Yeah.
Yeah. See
so
through
the Archduke.
Yeah. So Dr. Carl Weiss, he attempts to assassinate Huey Long, but and I bring up this story because I try to relate Louisiana history with world history. And again, if we know anything, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, is in the town of Sarajevo, and he is assassinated by a man by the name of Gavrilo Princip. And he is armed with an FN model 1910, which chambers a 380 round, which is also the same pistol that Dr. Carl Weiss is also armed with.
Really?
And when they were doing the bullet removal from Huey Long is struck in the side, left or right side. I don't really remember. It doesn't really
45.
matter.
Yeah.
Struck in the hip. And they dig this bullet out, and it is a 45 caliber bullet, which is chambered in the Thompson submachine gun or the Colt 45 handguns of his bodyguards. So as it turns out, Huey's marble house of the new state capital probably wasn't a great idea, because one of those bullets ricocheted and lodged in the hip of Huey Long, which he dies from due to inept medical care and, of course, Huey Long's inability to sit still. I mean, I'm reading like some of the doctor's reports about Huey Long's assassination, and they're like, Huey, please, like, sit. Like, you are bleeding out of your leg. Please sit down. And he's like, no, I've got to do,
I can't sit. I have no time on my hands.
I have to gerrymander a guy out that I don't like.
I have to go fix a vote real quick.
Yeah.
Holding his spleen.
Yeah.
So what are you reading?
What am I reading? So before I say that, unfortunately, I say unfortunately, I mean, great for him. He deserves it. One of our colleagues, Dr. Craig Saucier, is retiring in December, and he has plans to move to Spain, to which I asked Dr. Saucier, I said, how's your Spanish? To which he replied, dos cervezas, por favor. I said, my man. I said, in case you want my knowledge, passed on to you, donde los baños? Find the bathrooms, because I guarantee you're probably going to need that and beer for when you're done. But the good news, the silver lining of that, is that he is downsizing his books. So
Oh,
one of them I obtained recently, and it caught my eye. It is Alex Kershaw's The Few, the American
mm,
Knights of the Air who risked everything to
yeah,
fight in the Battle of Britain.
yeah. That's right over there. Yeah,
It is
isn't it good?
it is so good because the book itself, and I want our listeners to read the book. But I mean, seriously, in the first 3 chapters, it tells like 5 different stories,
Yeah.
and it helps it move along. And it's, I don't know, it feels, because it's following these two guys, these two American. Well, one of them's American, one of them's actually from Russia. But these two guys in the United States that are trying to make their way, to fight in the French Air Force. But as Joey probably already knows, is that the Neutrality Act of 1939 actually forbid Americans from enlisting in other air forces to fight on behalf of whomever, which came with a
Tricky one.
fine. It came with a fine of $10,000 and also a possible revoking of your passport.
Hmm.
But it also talks about Churchill in his finest hour. I don't know. It's really good. Read Kershaw's The Few book. It's really good.
That's a lot how his Tang book is. That I forget the name of it, but it's about the USS Tang.
Hmm.
He's got like 3 different stories in the first chapter. That way, you're constantly weaving back and forth between the
Yeah.
3. And it's just a great writing device. Um, I'll be very honest with you. I've been struggling to actually hold a book open the last few weeks because there's just been so much going on.
Feel that.
But I think I have finally settled, and I think I know what I'm reading for a little while. Um, I picked it up back in April, brought it home, and just left it sitting on my bookshelf for the last several months. But I'm reading Zeno's The Cauldron, about his experiences as a paratrooper at Market Garden.
Ooh,
Um, I feel like, it's close enough. We're almost to the anniversary. I'll probably finish it around the anniversary.
true.
Uh, I'm knocking out like a chapter a night, which isn't terrible, but
Mm,
I picked up a couple different books, and no offense to some of my friends that wrote them, but I couldn't do it. I
yeah.
just wasn't holding wasn't holding the old attention
I
span
have, I have
anymore.
very unique taste.
Yeah, and I'll be right there too. Is like I've been working on so much stuff for Emerging Civil War the last month because August was like a hot and heavy month for me.
Hmm.
I did a little biography on General Thomas Williams, who was killed in Baton Rouge. I did another story about the 7th Vermont, and then of course John Bell Hood's anniversary of his death is next week when you hear this, so it'd be the 30th of August. So I put together some newspaper stories about that. And I was like, okay, now I want to look at doing something in September. I was like, okay, all right, let's see. 17th, I could do Antietam. I could do Antietam. I could write about Antietam. I could write a little bippity boppity boop about Antietam. I could do that. And then I was like, but there's Chickamauga on the 18th, 19th, 20th. I could
The
do
Chickasaw.
something like that. So I've just been trying to narrow in on a focus, and then I want to read World War II stuff, and then I've been doing a lot of gaming, and I've been trying to be a dad, and I've been trying to remain physically active, and I've been trying to hold down a 9 to 5, and I've been it's like,
Yes.
please give me just a minute.
Different hat.
Yeah, how many hats can I wear? And I'm trying to produce homebrew history. Like, I'm running out of hats.
Which, and this is something that, and if you've made it this far in the episode, good for you, first of all. Second of
Here's
all,
to it. This was supposed to be 20 minutes.
it was supposed to be. And look at us. We did that thing again. Well, Joey and I's old alma mater and my current employer just opened up the old D. Vickers Hall,
It looks very nice.
which is now home to the $5 million Robin Roberts Media Center. And supposedly, there are some works in which the man who produced our intro and outro song, Dr. William Guitar Slinging Robeson, and one Dr. Joe Burns, the man who is seemingly the voice of Southeastern radio, wants to get us a little upgrade. So that might be in the works. So we shall see.
We do like the idea of a little upgrade.
We do.
We do like that.
Especially if it's free because we're alum. That's cool.
Hard to pass up free. Also hard to pass up an actual editor and producer because
Bada bing.
Your boy's tired. I'm tired, boss.
I'm tired, Grandpa. That's too damn bad.
Go edit another episode of Homebrew History, you lazy sack of shit. That's how I feel. I feel like that's what you tell me. It's like, oh, you're tired. Go get to work, bitch.
Well, I tell you what, before we get into what we've been drinking on tonight, there is one thing that we have to discuss. Cracker Barrel. Okay. So,
you fire away.
Our friend, J.D. Hewitt.
J.D.
Over there at the History Underground. First of all, we cannot recommend him enough. But
J.D. subscribe to his page too.
Please do.
You already do, but whatever.
Yes. J.D. has a knack, and I think he understands the internet a lot better than most people do.
Oh, yeah.
But he mentioned something like that. And when I saw, because I want to say that was probably maybe the second time that I saw that Cracker Barrel had changed, their logo. So I commented on JD's Facebook post and said, this is a lot like putting shag carpet over hardwood floors. And apparently that just resonated with the boomer community that lives on Facebook. And I'm like, okay. I'm invited to the boomer cookout then.
I got hit with being a communist in the comment section.
Yeah.
Because all I said was, I was like, well, JD, this is actually very simple. What's happening? This is what happens in late stage, end stage capitalism is when you start building these chain restaurants to all kind of look the same, all kind of feel the same, all kind of be priced the same. That way, when one closes, it can be replaced with another one by a private equity firm in a matter of weeks. And some guy was like, that's what a leftist thing to say. You're so woke. And I was like,
I'm wide awake.
I just made a general observation of how businesses are operating in the year 25. Oh, boy. Yeah, so that was a fun comment section. Did you see the Taylor Swift one, too?
I did.
That was another fun one where he was like, I get it. Some of you don't like her.
I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
But I commented, I was like, much love to my girl T-Swizz. I can't wait for the new album. It's gonna be exciting.
And people have mixed opinions about Taylor Swift, but here's the thing: is that when you become such an economic driver that the American economy and American economists can base how the American economy is doing based off of ticket sales for Taylor Swift concerts.
She was last summer, 2 summers ago, she was the #1 U.S. export.
Yeah. Just her.
Just her music. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't listen to all of it. I like some of it. I like some of her eras, not all of her eras. You can paint me as a Swiftie. I don't care. Look, I've been painted as a lot today. I'm milquetoast liberal, communist, Swiftie.
Throw all the hats on.
I don't know that I'm any of those things. But here we are.
Here we are.
No one has said what I am, a child of God.
Yeah. I'm anything but, apparently.
God, whose quote is that? That's a St. Louis Cardinal player back in the 50s. Charlie Flood. Yeah. Flood said, he said, they called me every name but a child of
Oh,
God.
child God. He's so right.
So homebrew history takes on the Taylor Swift haters by saying, we love you, T Swift.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
I can't wait for the comments on that one. I might actually label the video like homebrew history defends Taylor Swift and Space University over Cracker Barrel.
And then,
Just see how many
and then it's just
buzzwords
all
we can
Huey Long
shove in
stuff.
there. Like Huey Long, Taylor Swift, Cracker Barrel.
Yeah. We do it all, baby. And what's even more terrifying is that, again, I'm kind of dropping hints to what we will be doing in the not so far future. Joey and I have been invited to talk to a graduate seminar.
Which is kind of terrifying that we're going to influence young minds.
It's true. That is terrifying. Who let us do these things?
We did by, grabbing a microphone, becoming podcast host.
Yeah, that's right. We were two white guys in the middle of a COVID-19 pandemic with nothing else to do. So
both had beards. It was perfect.
Of course we did.
Yeah. Oh, I would also just like to put in for the record, my 30th birthday is just a few months away, and I've already made my decision.
Oh.
We can go ahead and the pick is in. With the first pick in
the new decade draft,
Joseph Verghia selected World War II guy. I got rid of my smoker. Just sayonara. Gone. I've chosen. I will not be purveying meats anymore. I shall become World War II guy.
Mr. World War II.
Yeah, but don't look for any like the weird World War II guys, like the wearaboos. Did you see those pictures from the Living History in England where everybody's dressed up like an SS guy?
No.
I don't know. Taylor Swift, I feel like she hates that.
Yeah. Well, most any red-blooded American probably hates SS Nazis.
Well, you would hope, but these days hard to tell.
I'll drink.
Ain't that the truth? All right, we've done this now. Oh my God, an hour. What's in your cup so we can go home?
Yes. I have been drinking on a local ale, some hard hide strawberry whiskey. It's been pretty good. It's made local here in Ponchatoula.
Really?
Yeah. You can find it in Beartown Produce right up the road.
Wow. That actually sounds delightful.
It is pretty good.
Don't know if I can do it. I will say I have found my new favorite drink thing. I've been trying the muck cools or mucked cools. I don't know what they're called. Cool mock cool. That's it. They're mocktails, but they're pre-made, so you get like a pina colada, a margarita. The one I've been drinking lately is like a blueberry hibiscus mojito, and I was like, that sounds terrible. Drank it, delectable.
You have a snack for me, don't you?
I do. I have Jamie Dodgers for you in my pantry.
You know what? We
see you tomorrow.
Yes. Joey knows what kind of stuff I got to do tomorrow.
That's a good way to come home.
Joey has pre-prayed for me. Okay.
I'm not
at liberty to discuss that. But just know prayers have been sent.
I got the mission briefing. I went to the briefing tent, talked to the guys in the Quonset hut. I'm heading out to the aircraft now. We know what the mission is.
We're gonna have to do an unboxing and have you had Jammy Dodgers before?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I haven't.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not my favorite cookie. I am more of a digestives, like chocolate covered digestives guy. I like those a lot more.
I'm so scared of anything named digestive.
It's just a cookie. I don't know.
It's not like a laxative thing, is it?
No. I wish it was, because that's always helpful. But
old stuff.
No, not that.
30 years. I feel like we're gonna have to tag Norma and maybe Paul when we do an unboxing Jammy Dodger video.
We have the technology to just make one.
We do.
So I'm feeling like you're coming over tomorrow and we're eating cookies.
Well, anyway, if that's the case, then I better get to sleep because that means tomorrow I get cookies.
I have to go move things. So you're having whiskey. I'm having tea. For all of us here at Homebrew History, oh God, that was good. For all of us here at Homebrew History, good night and good luck.
Good night.
Let me get us out of here.